Good morning, Internet land. Welcome to Monday morning. We're going to get started with DIY Wellness in about 30 seconds. We're just waiting for Instagram to catch up and come online. And then we're going to talk about the trap of always trying to make things better. But Instagram is better right now. So here we go. Live everywhere in T minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of DIY Wellness. I'm your host this week, Brian Hogan, life coach, filmmaker, and clinical therapist. With this show, the idea is that we take personal growth into our own hands. So we're always exploring different modalities, methods, or ways to become more and more free. That said, sometimes it can be a trap to keep trying to do things to improve your life and to improve yourself, because we live in a culture of productivity and lies around productivity. Those same lies can creep into our own personal growth journeys. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the difference between self-improvement and self-acceptance. We're going to talk about the ways out, the signs rather, that you might be caught in a self-improvement trap. And then we're going to talk about how to escape the self-improvement trap. And I'll use some personal stories in my own life of times when I have been doggedly determined to heal and how that actually maybe set my healing back or slowed my healing completely down. So when we start healing, we tend to want to rush because we are born into this capitalist culture. And by the time that we feel ready to heal and we're really like on a healing journey, we're more aware of all the suffering that we've gone through before, and we're aware of how we don't want it to be that way anymore. And so we're really, really ready for that freedom and that change that comes from the healing journey. And so we rush it because we really, really want to make it happen. And culture has taught us that productivity is worthiness. And so because of that, we think that healing will make us more worthy, or that what we have to heal from is this sense of unworthiness. And that is the thing, the only thing really to heal from is the sense of unworthiness. Because once we have that a little bit more under control, we can take the rest of the journey slower and with more ease and grace, which is the point of the journey, in fact. So there is this cultural insanity around self-improvement. Productivity has become our religion, and burnout has become the sacrament. It's like internalized capitalism is where your worth equals what you produce and how you optimize. So this comes from Bell Hooks' All About Love book, right? There's this thing called the grind mindset, where we're always hacking, always trying to go forward, always trying to optimize and make it better, but never arriving. We live in a culture that profits from our insecurity. That's what Audre Lorde said. And just sit with that for a second. The culture we live in is designed to profit from insecurity. So we want to make sure that we aren't leaning into this cultural mindset and then trying to doggedly heal. Healing does not mean optimization. Growth does not mean hustle. In acceptance and commitment therapy, the whole priority is on slowing down, becoming present, figuring out what your values are, not about symptom elimination. Symptom elimination happens as a byproduct of becoming more and more in alignment with who you are. So the true purpose of personal growth is not to become better. The goal of personal growth is to become here. Growth is not about earning virtue. It's not about earning enlightenment. Awakening is a subtractive process. It's about letting go of false identities, letting go of things that aren't working in your life anymore, letting go of old patterns that didn't come from you. So when you're present, peace and goodness are side effects of that. They're not the destination to get to. So the destination to get to, paradoxically, you're already there. It's here. It's now. It's this present moment. Flow states, there's a scientist, it's hard to say his name, collection of maturity or something. He just studies flow states, and they emerge more likely, more often, and more reliably, not when we're striving, but when we are fully present in the here and now. So that's the real purpose of personal growth, to bring us to the here and now, not to have us keep aiming for a future, better, different, more nuanced version of ourselves out there. Everything we need is here, in here, and it's in here now already. So this is the thing. Self-improvement is a trap. Self-acceptance is the key. You can't hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. It's just not possible. You can't do that. So real change begins with radical acceptance. This is that quote from Carl Rogers again. He's the father of modern psychotherapy as we know it, the person-centered approach. And he says, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. So accepting yourself just as you are is paradoxical, because if you're accepting yourself just as you are so you can change, then you haven't really fully accepted yourself as you are. And yet, until you do fully and deeply accept yourself as you are, you cannot change. So you must accept even the things you want to change. You must accept them. Self-acceptance. They're part of you. They're a reality. Denying the reality is just putting your head in the sand. We're not ostriches. We're people. So we're gonna come into the present moment. So compassion is not complacency. Letting go of force does not mean giving up. So you're letting go of this forced way of trying to go about your healing, but that doesn't mean you're giving up. Perfectionism is actually a mask. It's masquerading as growth. You know, the thing is, acceptance creates the soil for natural transformation. Even Thich Nhat Hanh, he's a Buddhist monk, and he says, no mud, no lotus. And that's like to say the lotus flower is this beautiful, beautiful flower. And it's a symbol of all these beautiful things in yogic philosophy, like the third eye opening and the crown chakra, and all this beautiful stuff happens with the lotus flower. And yet the lotus flower grows in mud. It grows out of mud. It doesn't even grow in a field or a meadow or any place pretty. It can't. It grows out of the mud. So without the mud, you don't get the lotus flower. The way we can take that into our own lives is without all the crap and crust and toxic patterns that you have that you're trying so hard to get rid of. Without all of that, you don't get the lotus flower, because all of that is to be integrated, not to be discarded, not to be hated, but to be befriended and then used to your advantage. So here are some signs that you might be caught in a self-improvement trap and how you're going to get out. So healing becomes another mask when it's driven by fear. So the signs that you might be caught in a self-improvement trap, a lot of them have to do with, if you notice, you're being driven to fix a sense of unworthiness or something that's broken, or if you're with fear of like, I've got to get there, I've got to be good enough, I've got to arrive, I've got to heal. So here are some signs. You're never done doing the work. You measure your worth by how healed or how conscious you appear or think you are. You've lost joy, spontaneity, or pleasure in this process. That's a big one, because remember, the whole reason you embarked on the healing journey was to find joy, spontaneity, and pleasure. And so if those have been lost along the way, then you bet your bottom dollar that you're in a self-improvement trap instead of a self-acceptance journey, which is what you intended to be on from the beginning. So if you chase future versions of you instead of feeling present now, that's the self-improvement trap. I do this all the time still. So this is not, I'm not up here on a pedestal judging you all for being caught in your self-improvement traps. I have a self-improvement bear trap around my ankle right now still, because sometimes I'm trying to perform my way to freedom and peace and the love of God and all that stuff, but I interrupt it. And I remember it and I go, oh, I accept even that part. I accept even that part that wants to seem impressive, even that part that wants to perform healing. I accept you because I realize you're there for some reason. So another sign is if you're tired and fatigued from healing. If healing is making it worse. If healing is making it worse, then you're most definitely caught in a self-improvement trap, and you want to lean back out into self-acceptance. So my yoga teacher once told me, don't become a victim of your practice. And that resonated with me so much, because I was getting so angry at myself for not being bendy enough while doing yoga. I mean, I'm in the middle of yoga. Yoga is supposed to make you more peaceful, and it was making me angry, so angry, because I wasn't worthy. I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't self-improving enough. For a long time, my journey toward healing was actually a journey of trying to impress the Most High God. I would chant, I would do yoga, I walked in nature, but it all came from this deep feelings of unworthiness, not a place of devotion or even a place of knowing I deserve healing. It was the opposite. In fact, I felt like I did not deserve healing So instead, my approach was to try to earn healing by being dedicated enough to the healing process. But the healing process doesn't require dedication. It requires rest, nourishment, and even lightheartedness. I remember when I was healing from my broken tailbone, it's not like I needed a whole lot of dedication. I was stuck there. I just needed rest. I needed some people around me and I needed to laugh a little bit. There's research that bears this out, what I'm about to say. Hospital patients heal faster when they're in a room with a view or a painting of a view even, and when they're surrounded by loved ones for support. So in psychological healing, what this means for us is that we need to get a better view. We need to get a better view of who we are and show up in support of ourselves. Instead of saying, you need to improve, say, I see you. I accept you. I accept what you're trying to do here. I accept the parts of you that are rushing forward. I accept the parts of you that don't feel good enough. Accept, accept, accept. Instead of cracking the whip that says, keep healing, don't ever stop, stop, rest. And as my mentor and life coach trainer, Martha Beck, likes to say, let the rest do the rest. So how do you escape? How do you escape the trap? Well, rest is part of it. But if you want to really escape this self-improvement trap and start to flourish now, presence. Presence is the only real transformation. So you got to stop chasing. You got to start listening. Tune in to your nervous system, not your Instagram algorithm. Reconnect to play, rest, and pleasure without needing to earn them. You don't need to earn them. You don't need to wait till the end of the day and then have pleasure or rest. Bring pleasure to the things you do throughout the day. Let the approach of everything you do be more lighthearted. In this present moment, you're enough. Except in this present moment, the tired version, the grumpy version, the version that doesn't feel like they should have to do this. Accept that version and then do and see if there's a little more peace, a little more ease as you do. You don't become awake. You remember that you already are. That's a quote from Ram Dass. And I love that as well. So we're not trying to shake ourselves up. We're just remembering. We're just remembering. Being alive is not a performance, it's an experience. So we're meant to enjoy it. So reflect on areas where you might be doing healing instead of being whole. And let me know in the comments how that's going for you and what your self-acceptance journey is looking like. And if what you heard here today resonates with you at all, then please share this video with someone else who might appreciate a little nudge away from self-improvement and towards self-acceptance, because we all need reminders like this. And I was walking around in New York with my buddy Ben after doing shrooms like 15 years ago, and we were talking about our self-improvement journeys and all kinds of stuff. And he just at one point looked at me and he said, I've been trying to recalibrate and not worry so much about self-improvement and instead just be on a self-acceptance journey. And I was like, whoa, it like slapped me in the face. That was such wisdom. And that was like 13 years ago and I've never forgot it. And I've ever since then been really keenly aware of when I'm slipping into a self-improvement trap versus when I'm really on my self-acceptance journey. So don't be like me and don't try to improve until your heart gives out. Instead, accept exactly where you are. The mess, the joy, whatever it is, accept it because it is your reality. Anything else is arguing with reality. And who's going to lose that argument? Not reality, because it's reality. So remember, DIY wellness means do it yourself, but that does not mean you have to do it all by yourself. I'll be back again next week at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday morning. Until then, keep taking personal growth into your own hands. Much love, everybody. I trust you, humanity. Bye.